Hello. I just wanted to give a little bit of thanks to everybody, really. Since that one video exploded a couple of months ago, every video that I've uploaded since then has managed to get at least 1,000 views. So I genuinely really appreciate that, because I know what I say, it doesn't necessarily give value. A lot of channels that are kind of like this, where it's somebody that's going through something in life and talking, they always seem to offer things that you should do. You should do this, don't do this, it will hold you up. I find them to be very, I don't know what the word is, but they never show like the negative side of it. They're always telling you, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, and nobody ever kind of shows the proof themselves. They never show them working through it using their own methods. So I kind of feel that they're not fake, but they're not 100% true. And I know that I haven't exactly made progress in a huge way, but I feel that it's more honest if I'm just talking to you, because a lot of people who potentially find themselves in a similar situation probably have the similar conversations with themselves. So for me, I don't know, I just outwardly voice it. I just try and be real with it. And if it helps anybody, then that's great. If it makes anybody feel less alone, that's also great. I do get the odd one or two comments that come here and say, oh, you only care about yourself, and about how self-involved you are. And I kind of sit there and read the comment, and it's like, well, yeah, this is literally this is my channel that I set up, that's about me, to document my process. So of course things are going to be about me. It's the nature of what it is. I can't say that the person over the street tried to do this, because I don't know. I can't talk about anything outside of me. I can feel what I observed, if you like. So I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So things like the way that people have routines, or the way that people make progress through something that they want to change. Obviously, I can observe that with the people that are around me. And if I know that they're trying to make change, I can look at them and see where I think their downfall might be, or where I think that they're doing something right. And then I can talk on that. But outside of that, it's wrong of me to talk on somebody else's behalf, if that makes sense. So I'm just out here saying my bit from my position, and a lot of people have been very supportive, and I won't lie, it's your support that's kind of a motivation for me as well. I heard something the other day, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, and I wish I could, because it was really good. And it was about how people will support you on the way up until you get to the top. Because once you get to the top, it then reminds them of what they could have been if they had tried. And when you're there, that's when people start to hate on you. Likewise, there are a few people that will hate on you on the way up, because they want to keep you down with them. It's like a misery loves company kind of situation. So I don't know. I find it interesting. And one thing that I have seen a lot of recently is successful people saying, everybody's going to offer you some form of advice, right? You can either listen to the advice of people who are not successful, or you can listen to the advice of people who are successful. And it's like, out of those two things, who do you want to be more like? Do you want to be more like the person that is in your situation, or do you want to be more like the person that you hope to kind of be like? Because it's that argument of, be careful of whose advice you follow, because sometimes you might not make progress because people, not intentionally, but they're not, you know what I mean? It's like, if you do what 99% of the population does, you're going to be like 99% of the population. So if you want to be like that 1%, you can't necessarily do the 99% kind of thing. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it does, but yeah, honestly, I just wanted to say thank you. I think I owe some sort of gratification to everybody, because This is just a place where I'm just throwing up my own sort of documentation of the battles that I go through, really. Mental, physical, whatever you want to call it. And I picked up a few people along the way, and there's been busloads of support that I'm genuinely thankful for. And a few people have actually thanked me because this stuff has helped them. I don't see it, I don't get it, but if it does, I guess I'm kind of grateful in a way that there is something that I can do that seems to help outwardly, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, honestly. I appreciate your support. I just hope that I can do something. And I know that it's going to take a lot of time. But I feel, as much as there is like a big ball of negativity that I'm carrying around, I feel that there is not necessarily positivity to keep it at bay, but like a contentment that acknowledges, okay, so we are trying to work towards something. We don't have to let that negativity in because, you know, you're trying, and that's what matters. You've got to keep trying, you've got to keep moving. And that negativity only wins if all of this stops. And if we don't put a timescale on things, that negativity can't win. Just keep moving forwards. Just keep like that little foot over the foot. Sometimes you might need to stop to rest. Sometimes you might need to catch your breath. But you keep going forward. When I went through something that I really wish that I could talk about, but I really can't talk about, when I went through that was utter hell. And the way that I managed to get myself through it was I heard a saying that literally makes so much sense. And all it says is, you only ever walk halfway into hell because the rest of the way you're on your way out. And that makes sense because if you imagine, let me get a prop, you imagine hell being a circle, right? And you start on the outside of that circle. You're only ever going to walk halfway into it because once you're in the middle, any direction you go from there is going to be outwards. The problem there is nobody knows how big the circle is. So you could be walking for years before you get to the middle. And if you walk for so long, once you get to that middle and it's taken, let's say it takes 10 years to get to the middle, you don't know it's the middle. But the problem is, arguably, if it is a complete circle, it's took you 10 years to get to the middle, it's going to take you another 10 years to get to the edge. And it's that, like, you've got to convince yourself that you've got to keep going. That's the hardest thing. I'm not going to lie, that is the hardest thing. Because you don't know whereabouts that on that line you are. You could still be just on the edge going inwards. But you could also be just on the edge coming out. And you don't know if you stop. That's the thing. You do not know if you stop. And like I say, there's days where you're going to walk miles and there's days where you're going to walk inches. But every day, just keep going, you know, just keep going. Because if you're trying to do something, change has to happen. Just the laws of everything. If you change things, things will change. But nothing will change if we don't, right? If we keep doing the same routine, expecting different results, you're just kind of stupid. I think that's literally the definition of idiocy or something. Like doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. It's not going to get you anywhere. At some point, you have to change something. So, I don't know. Well, it started off as a bit of a thank you and it ended up being a little bit something else. But I appreciate you guys, honestly. You take it easy and keep going.